I like the man to put it down. Hey! Oh, he's married now. Anyway. My name is Leslie Strange. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Hey, y'all, hey. And my sobriety date is November 2nd, 1988. But once you hear what I've done through these last 37 and a half years, you're going to take your clap back, because I'm not. You're going to be like, she need a white chip in all areas of her. I got sober in Los Angeles, California, November 2nd, 1988. I got sober when I was 28 years old. So what you see is a seasoned mother. I'm a mother. What you see is a woman that has some bruises and some bang spots and some broken bones and some torn ligaments, and that's just in my heart and in my soul. What you see is a woman who's fully armed with facts about herself, that knows her weaknesses and her strengths. I remember when I was in college. I went to college at 50 years old in recovery, and I was in college, and they used to teach us this thing called a SWOT analysis. Anybody know about a SWOT analysis? You smart dummies, you sitting in here with me. So, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Well, that's what the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous has done for me. It's given me an ability to see what I'm good at, what I'm not so good at, but what I need to keep working on. What's a threat, and what's not a threat, and I'm thinking it's a threat, and what are opportunities? I call them God winks. I also call them when am I able to distribute my gifts and my pleasantries to others to help them, to uplift them, to make them feel better about themselves, because I know how I was when I came into the rooms. I was 28 years old, and I was a licensed substance abuse carrier. See, you don't have to understand, my name is Leslie Strange, and that's my married last name from the first husband, because when I was new, I did, like most newcomers, I did exactly what they told me not to do. I went and got me a dude. I married the dude. I didn't like him, a couple of Mike Tysons to the jaw, and then you say, oh, I don't think this is the one for me. And then you leave, and so I liked the last name, and I kept it. So this is not a nickname, a made-up name. Some of you guys come on Zoom. My name is Lady C. My name is Queen Latifah. My name is King Roy. My name is Leslie Strange. That's the best you're going to get from me. When I came into the room, I was a scared little girl. I did them party favors, which allowed me to drink longer, drink faster, dance better, be taller. Hair was longer, even though my afro wouldn't grow. Skinny little Catholic school girl. Yeah, we do have black recovering Catholics. I'm one of them. You don't hear that too much. Most of them, last name is O'Neill, O'Donnell, McDougal. My last name was Odom. I think I'm related to Lamar somehow. I don't know, but somebody need a meeting. Anyway. I just busted my boy out all on the tape. I'm sorry, L-Dog. Anyway, I'm a late bloomer, and what's considered late for me, because some of you guys came out the womb with alcohol. I don't know. I hear stories that are like, what? And I was the oldest of two surviving children, and my mother was ex-military, so shout out to all you military. A lot of military retired down here. Shout out. There was a man here that had the veterans, the leather motorcycle jacket, and he had he wasn't riding motorcycles anymore, but he came up to me. He was so sweet, and I want to give a shout out to him because he had veteran stuff. I love military people, always have. I'm a child from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, although I wasn't raised there. Yeah. My dad, 82nd Airborne or 47th, one of them second Airbornes. Yeah. Y'all barking and stuff. But he was an abusive man. and back in the 60s, because I was born in 1960, that's what you do. You beat up your wife, you go out drinking with the fellas, and nobody says anything. It wasn't none of this 911, me too. It wasn't none of that. You just stay in your house and keep to your business. So my mother left him, and she was originally from Los Angeles. And she was pregnant with my youngest brother, and then she came back. Now, I'm not going to go deep into it. I'm just giving you a little background. I'm giving you background into things that you would think would make me an alcoholic, but I come into the rooms and you guys dispelled all those psychological myths. I'm trying not to be too close to the mic because the mic has been killing me this way. I'm like, am I listening? Can I hear you? You guys hear okay? Okay. A little closer? You just want me closer? I have a whole guy out here and he just sits there and goes, can't do nothing with her. She just loose. So when I came here, I'm not going to go through all the steps because you guys did a wonderful job. I'd like to thank everybody ahead of me. I knew everybody that spoke except Miss Nancy? And she's a pistol, so I can see what I'm going to look like when I'm seasoned like her. Y'all gonna have to tie me down, and I hope I don't run into you when I become blessed enough to be your age, because you're off the chain. I love you. Yeah. Her energy. So I came into the rooms, and one other person. I'd like to thank Jeremiah. I want to braid his beard. I just want a French braid, put some beads on that. Right on. Jeremiah, you did a good job, baby. You really did. Thank you for being an alternative speaker for the whole weekend. I love you. I'm stupid. Don't give me a mic. You guys don't ask her back ever. Anyway, I'm going to get to it. I know Ralph is like, I am not leaving with her. My mother came back home and raised my brother and I, and we had a good life. We still have a good life. She took us places, take a plane ride up to San Francisco for the day, go down to Tijuana, get some Mexican jumping beans, and one of those black light pictures, taking your room. Well, not the nasty ones, but the ones that kid friendly. And she worked the film industry. And she wasn't in front of the camera. She was blessed enough to get a job behind the camera, so she made really, really, really good money. And she sent us to Catholic school. And that's where I got my education. And that's where I got my foundation. And if you're anything like me, I grew up, I didn't think I was that smart. But as I stay around here, you guys helped me do a SWOT analysis on exactly who I am and who I'm not. Steve Lee stole most of my pitch last night, so thank you very much. I'm done. I was going to say some of that, but I love Steve. Certain people like Steve and some other people in the fellowship, I call them perspective shifters, because I'm a seeker and I'm a contemplator, and I'm like Rena says, I'm a ponderer. I sit and go, and I use those thoughts and those things that come suddenly or come from something one of you said, and I use those things and I chew on them, and I chew slow, and I ruminate. That's what cows do. Cows have two stomachs, so they'll chew and they'll throw something up. Sound like me when I was drunk. But anyway, they chew, they throw something up, and then they chew a little bit more, and then that's how they just digest their food. So I'm like, okay, let me think about that for a while. And so I come into the rooms, I'm going to fast forward through it, I'm going to get to 10 and 11, because there's so much to say on 10 and 11, and if you've ever got a chance to speak, you will walk away every time going, dang it, I forgot about this part. So today I asked the Spirit on the Most High, the thing among things, the nameless one, the one with no names, whoever, it, them, they. Sometimes I call the power greater than me suddenly. Suddenly. So I'm going to talk about 10 and 11 as quickly as I can, or as, because those are two big chunks. I got into the rooms, I was scared, I was 28, I told you I was 80 pounds. I didn't know my association with alcohol. I came in through that other fellowship, and we used to hang out in groups in LA. That's how far back Ralph saw me when I came into the rooms, and we'd be going to different meetings, and we'd go from this A to AA, and we hung out in herds, and we just hang around, and Started having book studies in different houses, and everybody just show up and we'd go line by line through the big book. And that's when you guys made me an alcoholic. See, because I just thought it was that other substance, and that hash, and the acid, and the mushrooms, and the purple microdot, and the over-the-counter medication, and the powdered heroin, and the good weed and the bad weed. I thought that was my problem. Now, you come to find out, I'm a garbage can. I don't know if you're anything like me, but you would hand me a pill or something, and I wouldn't even ask you, what does it do? Will I grow a horn? Will I come out looking like Tommy? What's going to happen when I take this pill? Yeah, I had to pick at you. You're on my tape now. And I never asked. I just took it. You know, it's so funny how you have the unmitigated gall to not ask what this is you mixed with my drink, but then you're going to question your sponsor, Leslie Strange, about everything that I suggest for your consideration to do. It's amazing. So I come into the room, I get a sponsor. She moves away. After a while, we're together. I get married. I moved to overseas after I did my steps and everything, because that was the thing. If you don't work the steps, you'll die. So I was terrified, so I went on and did that. Come back here. Now I'll talk about 10 and 11, because I'm going to fast forward through some things. See, it's hard not to talk about 4 through 9. See, 4 through 9, my sponsor, Betty T, I was with her for 26 and a half years, and she was the one that I sat up under. I sat at the feet of her like she was the Christ. I listened to everything that she had to say to me. I went to the meetings with her, and I did workshops with her, and I did book studies with her, and although she had over 70 or so women that she sponsored, for real, all 3 fellowships, let me tell you. Yeah. She was a psych nurse and a chemical dependency nurse, and she was a RN. She said, I bounced in and out of the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous for 9.5 years, messing with all the men, taking their Social Security checks and doing all of that. She said, I will be making amends to each woman for 9.5 years. For every woman that crosses my path, I will stay committed to these rooms. That's who she was. She was a beast. I say, I don't know about you, but I don't sponsor hop. I stick with you. And something about step 10, I didn't know nothing about until I was today years old. I don't know why it takes so long for me to discover. I would look at it and I'd do the steps and everything, and Betty would say, well, first of all, baby, the reason why you keep praying the same thing over and over again, because you said in your 3rd step you were going to surrender yourself over to the care of God, so you don't have to care about things that aren't for you to care about. She said, but your problem is you say the prayer, but you don't want to continue the work in the 4th step. 4 through 9 are the action steps. She said, you don't want to do that consistently. So you're still spiritually constipated. Now, a lot of y'all looking like it all weekend. I've been looking at some of y'all, you look like you need a good bowel number 4. Just tight for no reason. That looks like that hurts. Loosen up a little bit. Well, not too much. Go to the bathroom. Loosen up a little bit. So she said, you're spiritually constipated. Well, why would you say that, Betty? She said, because you're blocked. She always used medical terminology. She said, you're blocked. And your belligerence and your resistance to the truth, she said, I'm not making this up. And I tell my sponsees the same thing. I'm not pulling this out my butt. There are spiritual truths that are in place, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's spiritual laws that you have to obey. And if you don't, there's consequences. So she said, you got to do 4 through 9. She said, but 4 through 9 is a spiritual enema. So bend over, grab your ankles, and get ready. But then once you do 4 through 9, and I come out of it knowing what my defects and shortcomings are, that didn't really mean nothing to me early on. Thank you for Cindy that talked about 6 and 7. 6 and 7 is an ongoing beast. We like to say 6 and 7 is the main problem. After all the other steps fall away, 6 and 7 is the thing I'm going to be fighting the rest of my life. I'm going to be challenged with the rest of my life. My defects, my shortcomings, and mastered by fear. In fact, 10th step, it says to continue to take personal inventory. And I have sponsees, and I give them that challenge, especially the ones that are real. You get anybody in here that sponsors, ever get a sponsee trying to tell you when it's time for them to hurry up and do the 4th step? Because they done messed up and one of them defects came up and smacked them in the head or smacked them in the pocket. Oh, you gotta hurry up and call me, help me with the I had one do that this week. I said, baby, that inventory is not going to relieve you of the bondage of you right away. And you can't tell help how to help you. And to be honest with you, I still think you're trying to figure out step 2, whether you're crazy or not. And I'll let you know when Spirit gives me the okay to let you take you through the steps. So when I finally got with Betty and we did steps over and over again, and she was a 12 and 12 fanatic as well, and we go through the steps the way of the big book. She didn't deviate. And I'd give her all this stuff, and she'd give me that feedback that I needed. Now, see, I'm not one of those sponsors, nor was I sponsored by someone to just sit and let you read and rattle off everything you've written and give you no feedback. I've been getting that a lot lately, too. I said, well, did you get any feedback from your last sponsor? No. I said, well, what'd she say? Nothing. Well, so I don't come from that. See, we're doing a SWOT analysis. In order to analyze anything, you need results, and I need to look at the overview of what the problem is. Let's see what the problem, how can we make our strengths, tone it down a little bit and weaknesses a little stronger? What do we need to adjust? That's what we do here. That's what the inventory is. And it's not about me killing trees and writing a whole bunch of stuff. It's about making an outline and then reading that outline, and we'll discuss the story in the 5th, boo. I don't need all of that. Because I want you to get up out of that first phase of pain, especially if it's your first time doing it. We make things so difficult, it's not that hard. So I'm giving you 2 perspectives of what I've seen and what I've done. So, I get into this thing and I'm getting to 8, I'm getting to 9, I'm so excited. And then they start reading the 9-step promises. And some of them seem like they come into fruition before you get to the 9th step, and you knew and you're happy and you're dancing. It's like, oh yeah. You will come to know a new freedom. Hey, I'm free. And all those things come in, and they just give me hope for tomorrow. Now, I'm a little bit freer because I've told some deeper, darker secrets to someone else who respects me and didn't laugh at me. They laughed with me. And I'm going around making these little amends. They didn't feel good. I call 4 through 9 or 8 and 9, I call them the spiritual kale. 10 and 11 is spiritual kale. Now, kale has just gotten fashionable in the last 10, 20 years, but kale doesn't taste good, but we know it's good for us. Well, humility of making amends doesn't feel good, but this is not a feel-good program. I felt good when I took a hit of acid. I felt good when I had that Long Island iced tea. I felt good when I laid down with him and he looked like Paul Newman, and I woke up with him and he looked like Chewbacca. I don't know. I felt good. Top of the dome, y'all, it just comes. So feeling good for me is very dangerous. So I sit up here and I'm going, okay, now you tell me I'm going to have to keep this going. Let me give you an example of what I think of 10, 11, and 12 as, and I'm not going to step on yours, because I respect you immensely. But 10 and 11 is like getting a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So I give Jimmy a red Ferrari. Watch out. Jeez, he can't handle it. I give him a red Ferrari. I give him the keys, the pink slip. I pay for the insurance for a lifetime. I give him the keys. I say, hey, go and take care of it. Here you go. Unconditional for love. Well, no, when Steve, he's going to get Tommy, and they're going to go out with golf carts sticking out the top, and they're going to be flying up and down the street, and they're going to, ride and all that. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy's going to come back and say, here's this piece of crap. It's not running well. And I'm like, what? Why? What happened? He says, yeah, well, it started missing, the transmission started slipping, it started smoking. He told me all the things wrong with the free Ferrari I gave him 6 months ago. And I said, well, did you take it to the dealer? Did you do the oil and filter change? Did you get the gaps of plugs adjusted or whatever else, the carb? Or, no, I don't have carburetors anymore. Anyway, you get all the stuff done. Did you get the wheels turned? The rotor smooth? No, I didn't do any of that. So you got a Ferrari and you didn't do nothing to it. Now you mad that it's not running. Well, that's how I think of 10 and 11. I've been given the gift of freedom, and now I'm going back into the cage of selfishness and self-centeredness, and having the key in my pocket and locking myself back in the cage. I like to use this story that I made up. Okay, you want to hear it? Here it go. There was a man that had this real expensive bird, and because the bird was rare and he was very expensive, and he had a pocket. And inside the bird's pocket was a key. And the man loved this bird, and they captured the bird out the wild, and he had this bird in this cage, and this cage was sitting in his living room. And he said, well, maybe the bird will get happy because the bird stopped singing. He said, I'll sit it by the window so he can see the other birds in the air, and the bird's still sad. So he said, okay, I'm going to put the bird outside on the front porch. He puts the bird outside on the front porch. Bird sees all the other birds. He's still sad. He won't whistle. He won't sing anymore. So the man says, okay, well, I'm just going to open up the cage door. But he talked to the bird and he said, but I'm going to put the key, if you ever want to come back, in your pocket. So the bird stayed in the cage for a day or two, and then he took off and he ran around. And he went to South America. He went to Egypt. He went to all the places, met all other kind of birds, and was having a good time. He stayed gone for a couple of years. And as time went on, the bird got tired, and he flew back, and he went back into the cage. Not only did he fly back into the cage, he took his little key out with his little bird feather, and so I made this up because this is stupid, but anyway. And he locked himself back in the cage, and he stood there, and then he became sad again. So the moral of my story is, why would you lock yourself back in the cage when you were once free? Just go somewhere and get some rest and keep flying. Isn't that what I do in 10 and 11? Isn't that what I do when I don't do 10 and 11? See, for me, 10 and 11 is a review to keep my corners, those dust bunnies out the corner. It's like trying to wash your dishes once every 6 months. It's like trying to clean your toilet. I don't know how the water is in Tennessee, but in Georgia, because I live in Atlanta, the water, around the rim of the water, the toilet, it gets that film on there, and then nobody's even been in there, and you got to go in there and scrub it. You don't scrub the toilet once every 8 years. It's an ongoing process. And what I've come to understand for me is 10 is something that gives me practical application, something to do to check the corners of my soul to make sure I don't have residue, or that corner I used to have in that little bottle that was in the trash can with cigarette butts. I don't have any leftovers in the corners. You know what I'm saying? You know what residue is, right? Resin. Crackheads. Because what happens is my engine starts to fail. I start relying upon self. See, let me go back a little bit. See, on page 62, and I'm a big book quoter, but on page 62 in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the first 2 paragraphs, there's 11 forms of self. I counted them. Yep, go in there and find it. Every form of self, and it's not all of them, but some of them are repeated. And I have my sponsees, and we go through that. There's 11 forms of self. It starts with selfishness and self-centeredness that we think is the root of our, and it goes on from there, and it's self-delusion. And the biggest one is self-pity. Some of us are addicted to pain and kicking our own behinds. We love sitting in that. But don't call me. I won't let you stay there too long. Because self-pity is self-righteous inside anger, and I want to make sure I feel I have the right to be mad. No, you really don't. So what I usually do is I try to flip it and say, okay, well, while you're doing that, write down some things you're grateful for. And I go down the laundry list. Do you have toilet paper? You have soap, water, hot and cold? Oh, okay. Aren't we talking on a phone or on a Zoom right now, so your Wi-Fi is working, right? Oh, I take it real basic. Because if I don't do a 10-step, not only are those forms of self going to come and kick me in the behind, they're all led in the parade by fear. It's so funny. I know Bill said it, but I want to question you. Steve, why did he say resentment is our number one offender if resentment is fear? If resentment is anger and anger is fear. So why didn't he just say fear is the number one resentment? See, these are the things I have to look for. That's what I'm saying. Don't go by me, go by your sponsor. Fear is the thing I have to constantly be on the watch for. Even though I've done these steps, 10th step helps me look for how fear shows up on me. My sponsor today that I had when I first came in, she said, you know what, when you're mad, you're scared of something. You either do things out of two emotions, love or fear. So when you're angry or you're fighting back or you're bitter, right now I'm in a bitter battle internally. Right now, I'm going to take you up to right now. I'm a live stream for you. Right now, I'm in an internal battle. I done did all the steps. I done did a 10th step. I done did the electric slide, where them fans at. I've done every step. Every step and it's still sitting there. There's something in me that's not letting go of it. And whatever reason, I'm human and I suffer from a soul sickness. So I have to run into the wall to bust my head over to the white meat until I'm tired, and maybe I'll begin to let go. Anybody else going through anything like that or have gone through that? And you say, why do I wait? And I know it's not good for me. 10 is the version that says, where was I dishonest? Where did I hold on to something? Now, some of y'all gonna get into a debate, and I just heard somebody's mind all the way up here, because, I hear minds too. Shut up. It was drugs I took in the 70s. Don't judge me. No, that's 11. I don't care if it's 50-11. Just do the steps. I'm not getting into all that with you guys. I really don't get into that. The point of it is am I dusting the corners of my life? See, because when I found out I had 6 and 7, I had those defects and shortcomings, and those things are going to keep coming up and keep coming up. And I love the questions they have as we go to bed at night, that nightly review. And I have sponsors do it whenever you feel like you need to do it. Just send it to me. And I asked them to send it to me because I want you to send it to me, because you might be reading your own paper incorrectly and you might be delusionally walking toward the next drink. So I can assist you at examining yourself, because I do it with my sponsor. I send my 10th step to her, or 11th step, or 11th step, whatever you want to call it, and I send it to her and she'll read it. And if she sees something in it that doesn't look quite like it's going right, she will say, we need to talk. That's my regular. See, I have to be accountable. I need a sponsor. Lee's got all this stuff wired up, and he's got extension cords and power strips. Well, my sponsor is my power strip. When I can't plug into the wall because I'm too far from it, or I've got Timu plug, it's not plugging in, there's a short in it. Did I do that? I did that, huh? There's a short in it, and I can't connect to the power because I'm disconnected, or I need some electrical tape. I need some splicing done. She's always there, and she say, here, baby, plug into me. And for whatever reason, even whether I'm doing a 10th step or I'm doing a full 4, because I've held on to everything in my 10th step, and I ain't let it go a day at a time, I got collecting of stamps, and now I'm mad. Now I really got to write about you. Got about 50-11 resentments. So now I got to write about you. I got to do another 5th. Oh, y'all all do 10 steps. I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me. But, I hold on to stuff. But she's always seemingly plugged into the power when I can't hear, feel, see nothing. God is, I can't. I'm blocked. So a 10th step for me, I've had people, and there's nothing wrong with it, but if you review your day and stuff, and I like to be the sponsor to let you know I'm listening. I'm watching. They spread out all over the country. Send me your 10th step. Let's talk about it. Send your nightly review. Let's look at it. And if I see something in it, I'll say, we need to talk. And those who want to have a close relationship with me, I'm available to them. But those that don't call, baby, I can't pick up the phone and call for you. And no, I'm not running around chasing. I'm too old. My knees are bad. I'm 65. I ain't got time to be chasing those sponsors. Baby, I love you. I'm right here. But I was blessed enough and graced enough with some women that stood by me, and I stood by them, baby. I was with them everywhere because I was so afraid of this disease, because not only did you say it was cunning, baffling, and powerful, it's not the conscious stuff I'm scared of, boo. I'm scared of that back here in the backpack, that subconscious, that thing in the backpack that's streaming, telling you, you know you don't want to be there no more. You know it's time to go. You know you don't need to speak to her. She didn't speak to you last time you saw her at the last convention, so you didn't speak to him there. And I'll be like, yeah. So 10th step is like a maintenance step. Continue. And when we were wrong, now I'm going to say this part and I'm going to move on to 11, because 11's my... The reason why I do 10 steps, the reason why I keep in touch with my sponsor, even if I don't do the actual written, these are suggested things in the book. We do basically almost twice a week, we talk, and we go over the things that's going on, and she'll ask me, what's going on with you, baby? And I'll search in the corners of my heart, and I'll go, well, you know, right now, and I'll tell her whatever it is, and we'll have a discussion about it, and we're tight like this. We travel well together. I don't know about you. If you don't have that relationship with your sponsor, develop it. You got a relationship with the plug, didn't you? The plug might have been your best friend. Because sometimes, even with 37 years, I can't see my own ears. You know, I was on Zoom one time and I said that phrase to some. I said, you know what girls like, you know, when you're getting dressed and everything and you think you're cute, sure, and you got your hookup all together and you're in the car, and Tommy says, you're missing an earring. See, the reason why I stay close to my sponsor, and to you ladies especially, because you'll check me and say, girl, hold on a minute, you got some toilet paper on the bottom of your shoe, because I think I'm cute. I got my little sheen dress on and I'm prancing. Shut up, don't judge me, Timo. And you say, hold on. And you step on the back of my, and you say, go on and walk, girl, I got you. Oh, girl, I got this Ross dress on, and it says $9.99, red, blazing red, bold red in the back. But I think I'm the flyest thing in the room. And you say, girl, come here. And you whisper to me, you say, come here, hold on. Your tag is showing. Or better yet, this is Ralph's favorite one. Remember back in the day when girls used to wear slips? Y'all don't know nothing about that. Yeah. Remember, ladies, they used to say, girl, your slip is hanging, you know what I'm saying? Adjust your skirt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I use these rooms for. Tell me when my stuff is out of order. Tell me when I'm missing an earring. Why? Because I can't see my own ears. One time I was on Zoom, I asked the girl, I said, yeah, you can't see your own ears. You're always going to have to run stuff past somebody. It says it in the 5th step in the 12 and 12. Why do I need to run things past another person? First of all, I'm too new in trying to contact God by myself. And what sounds like God is my ego. My ego is a great imitator. It's the rich little of voices. It can change and sound like God, and somebody old laughed at that. You know, change into God, you know, rich little, you know. I need somebody. And it's okay to say I need somebody, because in my SWOT analysis, steps 4 through 9, it's told me where I'm weak, where my defects are, where my shortcomings. And even the 12 and 12 helps me. And it says you got 7 deadly sins, and in between each one of those 7 deadlies, they're all fear-based. They're all fear-based. And then this is the cold part about fear, because the reason why I need to continue is because it's like scrubbing the toilet and flushing it. You know, when you finish cleaning your toilet, you flush it, right? But then you gotta, what happens then, the water starts coming back up. I think of that as being, humility gets flushed, but then all of a sudden ego comes back up. See, that ego's always growing. It's like a weed. Say I have a big yard. And it's something about, why do weeds grow 5 times faster than regular grass? But that's what my defects do. They're constantly growing. Constantly growing. See, it has me like this. If I don't keep looking at myself, I call it, anybody like TV, True Detectives, be on the lookout? Anybody know what BOLO is? Yeah, defect, shortcoming, be on the lookout. So all of a sudden it makes you aware of your defects. So all of a sudden, I've been irritable. I've been restless. I've been a little persnickety. I've just been an ass, and I can feel it. And it's not out of guilt, shame, remorse, or anything like that. What it's been out of is something's unsettled in my soul, and I know it, because now I'm aware of it. I've looked at myself with my sponsor enough times to say, yeah, I'm aware of it. What are you going to do about it? So I asked the girl, I said, can you see your own ears? And she was on Zoom. And she did like this. I said, you do not just do that, trying to see your own ears. So you can't do it, baby. Let us help you. And after we laughed, she got it. You know, Steve mentioned something, one of my favorite is page 90. It is a spiritual axiom that whenever I'm disturbed, an axiom is a spiritual truth. It is a truth. It is a law. It is something that just is. Whenever I'm disturbed, no matter what the cause, something's wrong with me. And then I can hear Leslie in that book, and it says, well, what about the person with the self-righteous folks that did something to me? What if they started it like a little kid? And they said, well, we don't worry about that. We leave that to people who are better able to handle that. If you're anything like me, I'm not good at handling that. Because see, I go overboard. I'll punish you for it. I'll make you sit with it. I get mean with it. I get nasty with it. And although I know all the good stuff is like, you know, me drinking the poison, wanting you to die, I know all the stuff that comes with that. But when you're on the bitter route or the angry route or the resentment route, all that stuff is dismissed. Even with 37 years, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But right now, it feels good in my head to stay mad at you. Justifiable anger. See, mere knowledge is not sufficient. It's a spiritual truth. There's certain laws I can do. And a lot of times, I'm going to say this, there's certain laws I can try to break and rationalize and justify and die while I'm trying to commit them. When I did my first inventory with my sponsor back in the day, she said, you have to understand that you're going to be writing the rest of your life. I said, can I get a break? Tired. She said, linger long, die you must, baby. She said, you could take a break and take a chance, but you got to keep moving. And for 37 years, I keep moving. There's moments when I rest on my laurels and I feel it. 10-step don't feel good. It don't make you look pretty. And dressed up garbage cans used to tell me, you're the pretty girl with the dirty undergarments. You know, you look good on the outside, but you can be real nasty on the inside. And then at the very end, they tell you there's some 10-step promises. You cease fighting alcohol. See, by the time you've gotten to the 10th step, hopefully you have a spiritual aha moment that woke you up, something that shook you into letting you know, hey, I'm just getting free. I like this and I want some more. See, I have the disease of some more when I was out there, so how come I don't have the disease of some more while I'm in here? Well, I do. Amy got it. Rachel got it. Cheryl got it. We want some more. And we're not talking shopping. We're talking about, spiritual stuff. I want some more of that. Because there's something about me that feels good when I help somebody. I think it's the way that God built me, that when I help someone else and I get out of those 11 forms of self, when I help somebody else, I feel better on the inside. I don't know, I'm just built that way. When I see somebody else's light come on in their eyes and I start seeing them move a little different and I see the psychic change, because I found out that my disease doesn't center in my brain, but it centers in my thinking, in my mind. And we were talking about it in my family meeting on Zoom, and I said, wait a minute. If the disease doesn't surface in my brain, where is the mind that gives me the ideas to take those fatal actions? And how do I change my mind or mind my business? How do I do that? Well, one thing's for sure, friend, we can't teach you how to surrender. We can't teach you how to stay stopped, and we can't teach you how to be willing. But we can do is once we see it in you, we can assist you the rest of the way. But the first thing is you got to want to. Just like with 10, you got to want to constantly, patiently improve and be patient with yourself. A whole bunch of drinking for 20, 30, 40 years, and then you want to come in here and do a year and stand up here like we do. And this is a hard job up here. Y'all hard to impress. Critical drunks. Or that you either think or you think so lowly about yourself, I'll never be able to do that. So you back into self-pity. But what I don't allow women to do, and it's just out of love, is like, oh, you don't get to sit here and be on the pity pot. Oh, you gonna move. Oh, you gonna go back to school. Oh, you're brilliant. I'm here to give that. Thus, I'm gonna lead over into step 11. Make me a channel. Make me an instrument. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is darkness, can I bring light? What you bringing to the party? You ever have a barbecue or a dinner at your house and there's always that idiot that's always wrapping up plates, taking them out to the car, talking about where the foil at? Oh, I'm the only one that had barbecue. Somebody done took a whole slab. Oh, just because I'm black. Y'all in Tennessee, y'all be barbecuing. Don't play with me. You know that cousin that didn't do nothing but bring cups, but take a whole 3 chickens home? It's like, really? Is that what you gonna feed all 18 of your kids? What you bringing to the party? Make me a channel. See, I have a house with a little lake in the back, and I got this pair of swans, and I had a blue heron one time, and I was like, that's really weird. And I'm used to pigeons and police bullets in L.A. I don't know nothing about no blue herons and all that kind of stuff. Got a set of squirrels, Chippendale, they running around, and I just sit out there. I was like, what kind of bug is that? And I run in the house and bang my head on my forehead on the glass because I'm trying to run in. It's all kind of stuff in the South in Atlanta, but Between the two houses, there's a thing that comes from the street, and I'm supposed to keep that little gully way so that the water can go out into the lake. And if it gets with a lot of, I don't get the right lawn man, it'll fill up and it'll stack up and it starts blocking that thing. But that thing is really a channel to get the rainwater to go back into the lake and fill the lake. Now, if you think about a channel, anything that has a channel, if it's a tubing or something like that, anything that runs through it, it's going to have residue, or it's going to have something on that it leaves in the little round thing, the little channel. It's going to leave something because whatever flows through it is going to get it too. So that water is a channel. I don't know if any of you guys ride boats, but if you have a hot boat or you're coming out of the marina, you got to go out that channel first to hit the wide ocean. And in that prayer, after I've done my 10-step and I look at it, not all the time, because I'm not immediately ready to make amends, and sometimes I don't even do it every day. If you do it every day, I'm happy for you. There's something about that 11-step prayer that totally gets me out of self. I'm going to get back on that fear real quick. I got a few minutes up. So whatever flows through me, I want it to flow through me, and I want to give it to you. I want to water your gardens. I want to make your flowers grow. I want to make you feel pretty. I want to make you feel enough. I want you to feel. Now, if I give it all to you, that's not on me, but I want to at least let you know. I want to be approachable. Don't let the outsides fool you. I'm approachable. I want to be that little ray of sunshine, like she looked like she'd be a lot of fun, like my baby did when she introduced me. I want you to feel like you re-meeting me, because we've already known each other, whether it's in this life or another one. The 11th step says, make me a channel of your peace, so that where there is darkness, I bring light. See, I bring the light. And it's not just because I might be the only African American woman in the rooms. It's because there's a light that precedes me, because that's what I deemed for it. I want it to come into the room before I do. Oh, it's not arrogance. It's not self-confidence. It's confidence. See, I don't want anything to do with self, really, because all that self got me in trouble. So I'd rather, instead of being self-confident and having a great self-esteem and having self-value and self-worth, I just like to have esteem, value, worth, God confidence. Put God in front of all of that. And I can bring you to me. But make me a channel. Let me show light where there's darkness. Let me have the gift of interpretation, so that when I hear something that rings true in my soul space, I was like telling Steve, that I can take it and I can interpret it so that you can go, yeah, I get it now. It's called metaphors and analogies. I'm real good at that. I paint inside, I color inside the lines. I let you see the full picture from my perspective. And maybe you go, girl, you too. And I'll say, yeah, girl, me too. And we be having, first Me Too movement was Alcoholics Anonymous fifth step. Girl, me too. Isn't that what we all wanted? I recognize you ladies that come into the meetings and need a lot of attention. You're always the first one to raise your hands in the meetings. You're always the first one to say, okay, I'll do it. I recognize that. That means you want some love. I see you. And sometimes I go on and placate you. Sometimes I go on and say, yeah, girl, I know. Come here, give me a hug. I know. Isn't that what we all wanted? That sense of belonging? Remember you started getting into a crew? Like you four right there? They know who I'm talking to. And you guys click and you like each other. Doesn't it feel good that we're here alive right now on this planet together and you guys get to walk through this part of your lives together? Then other people looking at you, because you never know who's looking, old timers. You never know who's watching you. Make me a channel for your peace. Where there's hopelessness, let me have the faith that you can't have. All right, crickets. See, y'all gonna make me cuss on tape. And I've been real good. Now you guys can say what you want to. I'm gonna start talking real straight up. You know what this right here, this is hard. This is no joke. I'm getting off topic a little bit because, my fear tells me a whole lot of things. Fear is the food that feeds my resentment. Fear is the food that feeds my third column. Fear is the food that feeds all my fears in my fear inventory. Fear is also in my fourth column in my fourth step. And fear is the food that feeds all my defects. Every time I'm jealous, self-seeking, selfish, every time I'm envious and lustful and slothful, fear precedes it. You know what if I don't do 10 and 11 and I don't pray and meditate, let me tell you what meditation looks like for me. This is what I do. I wake up in the morning, I lay in the bed, I look, 'cause I'm retired now, and I look at the ceiling, I said, thank you, God, we made it for today. See all that getting on my knees? I can't, when you get a certain age, I got hardwood floors, I'm not getting down there. I live alone, I'll be stuck. And I lay there and I look up at the ceiling. I say, thank you, God. And I do basically what they told us to do, word by word and lane by lane and line by line. And I said, God, what would you have me to do? And I think about my day ahead and I think about who now. Oh, I got to make some phone calls and all that. But I thank God first. I don't ask God for anything for myself. Because in the fifth step in the 12 and 12, they said, be careful how you pray. Because if you pray, don't pray any specific prayer because I'm still telling God how to be God. See, and didn't it say in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is to quit playing God? And I love to play God, but his suit's too big, so I have to give it back to him from time to time. But I love playing God because I think I know everything. Ralph always tell me, you just think you know everything. I said, no, I just don't mess with what I don't know. So it sounds like I know everything. Don't judge me, goddammit. Yeah, I'm relaxed with it. Thank you for whoever put the cricket thing up there. I like that. That's sexy. Take your meds, too. That's probably what your alarm was for. I love you. Prayer is easy. I learned how to pray in Catholic school. But when I came into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, you guys did something that just threw me to the left, and you said the serenity prayer. I was so green. I came in off the street. I didn't go to no program. I didn't have the dubious luxury of having 18 recovery programs. In fact, when I leave here, I go and I fly home and I drive back to Chattanooga to a recovery picnic thing they wanted me to speak at. So I'm coming right back in my car to drive and speak to a whole bunch of youngsters who's probably going to be full of energy drinks. They ain't going to hear me anyway, so. And barbecue. This is hard. It's humbling. I've got people that I respect sitting in here and they're going, she's all over the place. I might be, but damn it, somebody hears me. Because guess what? My baby said, she said, are you scared? I said, no, I ain't scared. Who I'm going to be scared of? My twin cousins? Just like me, I spotted, I got it. Same here. But what I've learned in my prayer, if I have to pray a specific prayer, real simple. If it's your will, God. When somebody passes away and a family member passes away, my youngest son's, one of his closest, oldest friend had died. He was drinking all day. He went to sleep, and I think he choked on his vomit. And this kid was 26 years old, and he died the other day. And my son's first death in his life. And he says, Mom, and he's like, Mom, he died. I think if I would have stuck with him, maybe if he would hung out with me instead of hanging out where he was hanging out at, maybe I said, baby, you ain't got that kind of power, honey. So all y'all thinking that maybe if you hung out with that sister or that brother that OD'd or that cousin, or maybe if you weren't using the baby, you wouldn't have died and all that, you ain't got that kind of power. Otherwise, why are you in the rooms? It's about the unrealizing who I am as opposed to knowing who I'm not. That prayer meditation is something that we do when we walk into the rooms. If you came in like me, my prayer was, God, please help me. Then the next prayer was, Mama. See, in all of the doings and all of your stepping and all of your believing and all of your get understanding. But you will not learn any of it. I'm trying to fix my time again. You won't learn any of it until you go through it. I got 10 minutes. You won't learn any of it until you go through it. Yeah, we can read the book. We can take people through it. You can get to do the big book awakening and the annotating of the 99 and the da-da-da. And you can read Sermon on the Mount. You can read all that stuff. But when the application comes, when your boots hit the ground, when stuff has you and you don't have a book and you can't get in touch with your sponsor, where you at then? What happens when you pissed off at your home group and the way that they run in that meeting ain't right and they fighting traditions? There's some great warriors for traditions. I'll cease fighting. I'm not fighting you because, see, I can't get on committees like that because I'm armed with my SWOT analysis. I don't do well getting on committees like that because I want to cuss everybody out. I want to fight everybody. I want to snatch my weave off and I want to throw down. And I can't fight. All that, make me a channel of thy peace, all that goes out the window. Every day. But they said, I seek through prayer and meditation to improve my conscious contact. So by the time you get to these steps, you should be improving your conscious contact. What's your conscious contact? Well, it's whatever it is that makes me stay sober a day at a time, because it wasn't me. They said for me to be successful, I had to have an entire psychic change. Sounds like my mind. That means something up here in my mind, or wherever your mind is on your body, wherever you think it, something is going to change. And once that change, that means that something that I used to do, I'm not going to do as much or as quickly. Or if I don't know what to do, I know to call my sponsor. If I don't know what to do, I know to go to a meeting. If I don't know what to do, I'll see a Ralph in a meeting and say, hey, can I pull you to the side? I want to run something past you, because I know that my conscious thinking in the midst of my disease is not doing very well, and it's not good for me, and I need to have somebody input something else. That's why this is called a program. I need reprogramming. I need wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Sometimes I need it to soak because the stain is so heavy. Y'all running around here talking about trauma. I'm going to say something. I'm going to piss the people off, play the tape for them, and let them write my name in column 1. But you know all that trauma, if you try it with the steps. Now, I'm not saying you ain't going to have to get outside help. I hear crickets now. You know, I ain't saying nothing about you needing outside help, but not getting outside help. But it's something about if you're not attempted to really go into deep and to go into delving deep. What's deep look like? Ask your sponsor. That's why they got Al-Anon. Thank you for the Al-Anonians. I don't do Al-Anon. Because I haven't found it necessary to get. I go get therapy every now and then when it's needed, but I can't be a channel if I'm blocked. If I'm blocked, I'm starting to become spiritually constipated again, and all of a sudden everything stacks up on me, and I can't be of service to you. I cannot be of use to you if I'm blocked and my ears are plugged up and my mouth is full of cotton. I can't do it. But for whatever reason, when I get another woman that comes up and she hears something that I have to say and she comes up to me and she says it to me, that gives me a signal that, okay, thank you. I call that a God wink. God's let me know, yeah, you still raggedy as hell, but I'm still using you. So my meditation is real simple. Then I'm allowed to get up out the bed and get into the traffic of life. I don't do a whole lot of heavy nothing. I just sit with it. If I listen to something, I chew on it. I even get that spiritual awakeness from watching TV, watching something on a commercial hit me. What I've started learning to do is I started learning to ask God to reveal to me what's the difference between my thoughts, his thoughts, and life just lifing. I've walked around here so many years blaming God for certain things, and it wasn't really God. God only has 5 cards, and I'll leave you with, he only has 5 cards that he gives out. This is what I came up with. It's love, forgiveness, grace, and mercy. But the biggest gift of all is the gift of free will. Anything outside of that is life-lifing or self-imposed crisis. So I can stop blaming God for it. Maybe it's my defective character. Maybe when I'm acting out on fears, I can't be a channel. When I'm acting out on lust, I can't be a channel. And the hole starts closing back up. I don't know. I hope I said something to somebody that means something. But again, it's a rough deal. And it's really rough when you know better, but you can't make yourself do better. Sometimes you just got to hit that wall, and hopefully you don't get loaded. A lot of times when I rested on the laurels, I found out it wasn't me doing anything, it was God's grace. Sometimes it's just grace. Sometimes it's just grace that it's not my son that's going to be buried this weekend, that it's someone else's child that was buried. Sometimes it's just grace that I can walk through my mother's death on Mother's Day, 2017, and not get loaded. Sometimes it's grace when I'm broke, flat broke, and I don't have any money, and then suddenly I look in the mail and there's a check. See, my God today is all things. It is the collective. It is the one with no name. It is the nameless one. It is the being. It is it. It is they. It is we are. It is shall be. It is everything. It's the one with no name. It's the invisible one. It's the creative intelligence. It is the source. It is the vortex. It is the energy. But I know one thing it's not. It's not Leslie Strange, because if it was me, none of y'all would be here. My name is Leslie Strange. I'm a recovering alcoholic.